Hey, nibblings! Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? Good to see you again. I am drawing Ludwig again, and I'm kind of gonna do a similar stream to last time, just kind of being chill, kind of body doubling a little bit. I uploaded the stream just a little while ago to YouTube, so if you missed that one, you can go check it out there, or on here. It's here too. Anyways, let's get into it. There it is. Took a little while to set up, but we're here. We're here. So last I left off, finished this leg here. Did a lot more detail work. Still got to get to that sword. The sword is a little scary. I won't lie. The sword is a little scary, but we'll probably end up working on that today because I need to work on these last few limbs, which shouldn't take me too long, and then the clothing. And then beyond that point, I have no choice but to work on the sword. So that's probably happening. It's probably happening. So let's get into it. Also, I just remembered. So I've been having a lot of pain in my pinky and my ring finger. And I think I figured out why. Because it only happens if I draw digitally. And so I was like, what is going on? I don't know. It's so bad sometimes that my pinky can go numb. And so when I started feeling that, I was like, this is not good. This is a little scary. So I was like, what is it? What is it about digital drawing that really kind of hurts my hand? And I think the reason why is because I have these buttons at the tip of my pen, and I only use one as like a right click. So I can right click and I can do this, right? That's not that big a deal. But I always do that just out of habit because I used to use it a lot more for Photoshop and stuff. I used to right click a lot more. So sorry, let me check one thing really quick. I think my preview is being a little weird. Okay. Alright, it seems fine now. So what I was saying is, normally when I draw traditionally, I hold the pen from like almost the eraser. I'm gonna draw like this. And then my pen pressure on the on paper can be pretty light, because if I need to go darker, I just use like a 4B or an 8B, depending on how dark I want to go. Not true for digital, because I always hold my pen from the very end, and here I hold it from like the tip. I think I'm death gripping my pencil, my stylus, without realizing it. And I think that's causing my pinky to go numb. So I'm trying something a little different this time. I'm trying to be really conscious about how hard I'm pressing. Really conscious about where I'm holding the pen. And doing my best to not hurt my hand. And I have been like stretching it, like, and taking little breaks when drawing. Just to kind of like stretch out my finger a little bit, let it rest, but it really wasn't enough. It's like a temporary relief, and I start drawing and it comes back again. So I hope that is the case. That is what's doing it, because that's what makes sense to me. And if that's the case, that's fixable. That's a habit I just got to learn to break. So I'm gonna start that today and see how that feels, because it's kind of a nightmare. I think it's gonna have like long-term effects, because I think today Was it today or was it yesterday? I think it was today. I woke up, and when I woke up, my pinky and my ring finger were numb. Like they were almost like I fell asleep on my hand or something, but I didn't. So I'm like, this cannot be good. It hasn't been going on for super long. Like, it's been getting a little worse, but like maybe it's only gone on for like max of a month on and off. And so I'm like, I don't think it's too late to prevent any permanent damage. So address it now, you know. Let's see, there I go again. I'm holding it by the tip. Can't do that. And I think also by not holding it by the tip, I can't press as hard. Also, I want to see, there is a setting somewhere in my brushes, based on angle, because I would love to turn that off. Okay, let's see if that helps a little bit. Let's skip this track. Get something a little bit more energetic, I guess. Get the productivity up. You know, I feel like one thing that helped me yesterday, because I think this is a fairly normal thing. Like, I think a lot of people who do any kind of streaming, they over time realize that it's really hard to just like constantly talk. Not unusual, right? But I think people find that like with art, it's even harder because you have to focus on drawing and talk at the same time. And I think what really helped me last time is that I watched Good Will Hunting and I had a lot to say about it, you know? And so now I'm like, dang, I wish I saw a movie so I could talk about it. You know, because I went so much deeper than the movie itself. You know, I just kind of went talking about like, we live in a society a little bit. Hopefully that's fun for someone. I guess before I saw Good Will Hunting, I think it's this change I made. I don't like it. I think I want to back up on that. It's making it hard to make really light lines now. Okay. The other thing that I saw recently, I saw this before I saw Good Will Hunting, but I think it's called When You Finish Saving the World. Maybe I talked about it already. I don't know. But it's directed by Jesse Eisenberg. I think I did because I talked about my Jesse Eisenberg story. Anyways, I'm still going to talk about it. So I saw this movie, and I don't know, it came back into my mind recently. I was thinking about it more because I was like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I would never recommend it to anybody. You know, it's like one of those movies where it's like, there's nothing really else, and I want to watch something decent. Sorry if you heard that. And that's about it, you know. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, how would I really describe that? Because it's a little odd in terms of like premise. It's not like odd in terms of like weird stuff happens or like it's totally unique. It's not. It is kind of just a family drama. But as I started thinking more about it, I was like, I guess this is a story about a few narcissists who get obsessed with someone else they don't have and finally realize that, like, if you care about the things you do have and you treat them well, life is good. You know, it's a lot of that, like, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Um, so, I don't know. And I think maybe it resonates with, like, maybe some different North American people. I think narcissists, you know, I think it resonate with them more. Um, so I don't know. I'm not really the type of person to look for the next best thing all the time and to not be satisfied with what I have. You know, I've had like difficult life circumstances before and been okay. So I'm like, I think when things are good, you just let them be good, man. You just let them be good and you care for the things around you. You know, it's not all about how can I level up right now? It's like, no, man, just chill. Just chill. And I think that movie would resonate with people who aren't like that and are always looking to make their life better. But also, maybe not, you know? I just feel like narcissists would also have a hard time learning from others' experience or something. I don't know. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, no worries, no worries. Just hop in whenever you want. Whenever you want. But yeah, I feel like a real narcissist would have a hard time looking at somebody else's experience and learning from it. So I kind of ended up circling back around to my original opinion of like, this might have been a useless movie. But I don't know, my wife is definitely not a narcissist, and she liked it, so, you know, shows what I know. Shows what I know. But I think my wife is a little bit of a sucker for a family drama. You know, she'll tear up at real human emotion, you know. And I think it's Julianne Moore that was in it, and she has a good performance. I know some people really like Finn Wolfhard. I think he's just okay. I think he's great at playing a really annoying kid, like a really annoying teenager. That's just that you're just like, come on, bro, you're so what is it called? Not obnoxious. What's the word I'm looking for? Like insufferable? Yeah, insufferable. You know. And I'm like usually the kid apologist where I'm like, they're 17, they're gonna be dumb and stuff. But like I feel like the characters he plays, I'm like, brother, come on, man. Come on. I think this one's gonna be hard like this one was. I won't lie. I think this will be I'm not holding my pencil the right way. Just realized that. Such a hard thing to do, switch up how you hold it. Real tough for me. Okay. How do I make that look more sunken in? What is this track to? I don't know what this is. I skip it. I skip it. Yeah, let's listen to this track together. Sorry, YouTube. But if you're interested, it is, I think, When Life Hands You Problems by Cheek Face. All right, short song. Short song. Boy, this is a tough hoof. I was talking to a friend earlier about this same problem I've been having with the clicking. And again, I use this button here, right, all the time. Not all the time, not for this one, because I'm not switching colors at all. But like for other purposes, in other programs, I use it all the time. And he suggested something, I think it's a great idea, is a foot pedal for my right click. And I was like in the first 2 seconds, I was like, that seems silly. And then I thought about it more and I was like, that's genius. That's so smart. I think that's a great idea. So I might look into them. I don't know how much they cost in general, but I wouldn't need anything with like pressure sensitivity. And I would only need one. And I just need it to be like USB. I literally just need a button that I can step on that right clicks. That's it. You know, because I already use my left hand for so many shortcuts already. Because I use this Tourbox thing, which is pretty cool. And if you like fidgets, man, it's a goated fidget. Tell you what. I am having a really hard time with this. Not really able to define the form that I want. When I look at the thumbnail, it looks okay. When I look at it up close, I'm like, oof, it looks so rough. I might start this little inside part over. Just this little half here. Okay. I feel like that's not correct. It needs to kind of end there, right? Okay, alright, we're getting there slowly but surely. Just gotta keep at it. Keep at the grindstone. Through persistence comes success, right? I hope if you're working on something too, that you're getting there slowly but surely. And if you're struggling with the amount of time it takes, I mean, nothing's fun that gets done immediately, right? You gotta take time to struggle with it first, and then it becomes a little fun to figure out the problem. Now that I'm working at this, I'm liking it more. I'm liking it more. This is still a little bit of a problem here, but we can fix this. Thinking again about the bone and how the bone can show a little bit through the skin. I'm liking how dark some of this got. I'm thinking I actually add some of that back into here, because it does look good. That high contrast, kind of like I was talking about the other day. High contrast really does something for the piece. And truly, I do think this is a lot of fun. Can really noodle at this all day if I wanted to. Or I guess if I had the time to, right? Because that's the biggest thing holding us back, isn't it? It's time. How much time we have for things. Yeah, I think that did a big difference there. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, do the same over here. A nice high contrast shadow there. Nice, okay. I'm gonna do a little bit here as well. Really emphasize that form. Think some of that is needed here. Something about that I didn't like. Let's try that again. Whatever you're working on might be a good time to zoom out for a second. Look at the big picture. Don't get too in the weeds. You know, details are important, but details that no one will notice are not important. Really kind of analyze the way that your audience is going to look at whatever it is that you're doing, you know? That's pretty good. I'm holding my pen from the tip again. Really tough to remember that all the time. I think also my pen, you can kind of tell it gets thinner at the top and gets thicker at the bottom. I think my hand naturally kind of slides down it a bit. Gotta keep that in mind too. Oops, accidentally clicked the button. Really feel like you gotta define this little part here. It really looks like there's a big turn here. I put out a little YouTube short today, or no, I guess yesterday it was. And it was all about like when you see people kind of go like, "Oh, I want to break the rules of art and stuff," and well, that's kind of a rebellious thing, you know. And a lot of the times, some of the people that are most adamant about breaking the rules are those that don't know the rules very well. And that's okay, I think. Um, I think as long as it's more of a phase, you know, because I think eventually, you know, you should learn the rules and then you can break them more effectively. You know, I think it's something everybody knows, but sometimes people will use it temporarily as an excuse not to learn the rules and try to experiment. Again, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for a little while, as long as eventually you do learn the rules, you know. You do stunt your growth for a little bit, but if it's for the sake of enjoyment, all power to you, you know. Just think that you're not going to create something as cool as you would have if you waited, but again, really not that big of a deal. Not the point of the video either. The point of the video was actually more like another way that you might be able to experiment more effectively is not to try to break the rules or to break the art principles or not abide by them. It's instead to create your own rules. So take the art principles, abide by the art principles, then create a strange, arbitrary rule on top of them. And the example I used is you can't use the color purple because purple isn't art. Obviously, that's arbitrary. Purple can be art, but for the sake of your made-up rules, let's just say that's rule number 1. Then comes, you know, perspective and contrast, all these other important art principles. And I was just emphasizing, I think when you do stuff like that, it becomes more experimental, much more creative, and it enables a lot more creativity, because it's like you hear, you know, limitation breeds creativity, right? Because in order to achieve similar effects with less, you got to get really creative with what you have. So my encouragement was to those who want to be experimental, to those who want to break the rules, instead try abiding by the rules, but then try abiding by your own made up rules on top of that. And then I think you're experimenting in a unique way that maybe your peers are not experimenting with, at least those that really like to break the rules. B, I think you're not stunting your growth that way, because you are then being able to still abide by art principles, still follow through with some of those things. You just also have to follow through on some other stuff. And they can, again, you know, some of them are fairly simple, you know, like you don't have to get crazy with it. You can do something like as simple as not using the color purple or something. That's not actually hard to do. That's fairly easy to do. Then you can just focus on everything else, you know. But I thought that is like I would have loved to have heard that as a very young artist, because I was that, you know, kid that was like, I don't want to follow the rules, I want to break them. And I think somebody telling me that, like, well, if you follow the rules and then you make up your own rules, then you're like king of the experimentalists. You know, that's what real experimentation is coming from, is from not doing something rather than trying to do something totally new. You know, not allowing yourself some kind of thing. I think I'm liking this. I'm at the tip again. I gotta pull back. It's tough. It's tough. Certainly not impossible to build new habits. Okay, alright. As I'm looking at these limbs, I feel like that first one I did is a little too light now. But we'll come back and fix that later. I want to finish this one. I think it is okay for it to be a little lighter, but not as light, I think. Because it's the one in the most light, but not dramatically lit or anything like that. I feel like I also didn't, I didn't touch this hoof, did I? I totally forgot about it. I'll come back to it as well. Thank you, thank you. I think I'm just trying to even it all out. I feel like some of these legs are a little lighter than others. And as you can tell, I've been a little scared of the Moonlight Greatsword. But pretty soon I'll have no choice. I'll have no choice but to jump back in on that. Okay. This one limb that's actually a hand and not a leg is also a little tricky to get the detail quite right. So I don't need this track right now. I gotta keep looking at my preview window because it kind of shows me the thumbnail version of this. So I know not to go like too crazy with small details, but also enough to that I'm adding like shape and form to it. I'm okay with it looking like scribbly if you zoom in, but not if you're looking at it like completely full. Kind of glad this one's taken longer than I expected. Just really enjoyed this one. I think I just like working in like black and white more than I do in color. Okay, I think the hand is okay. Let me come back to this hoof that I totally skipped out on. This might seem a little strange, but I actually think it's too stubby anyways. So I might stretch it out a little bit. And then adjust its form on top of that. Because I do feel like it's maybe a bit flat down here. This is some weird Death's Dynamic Shroud, I'll tell you what. I just scribbled. Like a fool. Like a buffoon. Try to shift my canvas over. We erase this little part here. Let that kind of be the shadow. Is my shadow really not on? Why is it not on? Nope, nope. I guess for some reason the watch streak didn't show up or something. I don't know. There it is. There he is. That's my glorp. That's my glorp. My king. I do need something with some spice on it. Oh wait, that's it. That's it right there. The best Kate Bush album. How about getting this on vinyl, but it's incredibly expensive. I think Stranger Things jacked up the Kate Bush vinyl prices or something. This don't even have their song on it, man. I gotta figure out what to make for dinner today. Still not sure. Still not sure. I think I want to try something new. I think that's the right move. Okay. Now I'm starting to think that this little part is not dark enough either. I swear I could noodle at this all day. But I think that made a big difference, actually. Is that too shiny, maybe? Maybe it is. Add some cross-hatching to kind of balance it out, I guess. This album's actually directly behind my head. I mean, it's pretty small, but like right there. There is the album cover on Tidal. And then it's right there. There. On my wall. Seeing 7-day watch streaks strikes fear in my heart. The day I'll have to draw with my left hand. I have a time limit on that, right? How long did I say for? Does it say? Gotta say somewhere in there, right? I'd say 15 minutes is pretty fair. That's kind of a long time. It was the did the undo one too also have a time limit? Where is that? Where is that? No undo. No undo is for 2 minutes, but it is a lot cheaper. So I think that one's less scary. It's less scary by itself. Because I don't think I normally do a ton of undo. It's like really, really bad. Can't erase it, but like I think just to be a good sport, I would try to avoid that as much as possible. What I'm scared of is it's going to happen during this Ludwig one, and it'll be on the frame, on the border. That'll be really hard. Okay, let's do a quick save here. And then we got this leg here. Hold the pen at the end. So I stop death gripping, making my pinky numb. You know, maybe drawing with the left hand will also help. Oh, man. I wonder if I can... Mm-mm. This bone's a little bit tough. Get it to pop quite right. That's not it. That's not the look. Gotta do maybe some of this. Okay, it's getting there. Okay. That doesn't seem right. Where's the bone going? I feel like it's somewhere in the middle, actually. So, like, I gotta erase some of this. Yeah. And then light on the shading up here. And then a lot darker on the bottom. Okay. Why is flow so good, man? You got no business being this good. And this leg is so specific in what it's doing, the way it's contorting. I got away with it before because it was so simple. But now I'm like really having to try a little extra harder. Get this to look the way it's supposed to. And it has this other hoof kind of sticking out of it too. I still feel like this is sticking out maybe a bit too much. Like it's in some direct light almost, and it's not. That seems better. That seems better. Don't death grip the pen. Don't death grip the pen. Oh man, what am I doing here? I am making this darker. Oof, my own creations drive me crazy. This is not easy. Maybe this is just me, but I feel like especially when you have something where you have so much detail and there's like some parts that you really like, you get really nervous when you're working on a part that's complex like this. Because I'm like, oh, I can't mess it up now. Can't mess it up now. What is this track? I don't want this. Let's go with. That's fine. That's okay. Let's chill. Yeah, I get really extra nervous about messing it up because I'm like, oh, I can't do it now. It'll all be for naught. But you trust the process. Trust the process. You'll get there. And I feel like there's been a lot of time. I've had to redo a few little things here and there, but I feel like for the most part, everything has turned out in a pretty decent way. So maybe I should have started with the border and the sword, since those make me the most nervous. There's nothing saying I can't just redo them if I don't like them, though. Gotta keep that in mind. I do it and it's ugly, I can just do something else. Let's really define this gap here. We can make sure it's not confusing what we're looking at here. Granted, I mean, it is going to be confusing regardless. He's kind of a crazy amalgam, huh? I think my main problem here is that this should be smaller, so you can see where this part of the leg connects up here. This weird twisted shaft that goes kind of like behind it, turns into another hoof. Let's finish this one first, and then we'll come back to that extra hoof that doesn't sit on the ground. Okay. We go in here, out there, and then change the angle. I feel like now it's blending. I need a little bit more on the contrast here. Here we know what's in light and shadow. Okay, whoa, what was that? All right, we get the hoof down there, hoof up here, and then I think a little bit more on the farthest leg to the left, just to make sure it matches like the tone of the rest of it, because I feel like it's a little too light. I gotta keep remembering to hold my pencil from the end. Gotta reform that habit. The fingers gonna thank me. I said this at the beginning, but when I draw digitally, because I try to hold my pen by the buttons, I kind of death grip it. I normally hold traditional pencils from the end, but this stylus is a little bit slippery, and if I death grip it for a really long time, like I have been the last few days, my pinky will go numb, and it hurts really bad, and I can't do that. I'm trying to fix that immediately. Don't cause any damage. Oh, that one might be too dark. I feel like it needs maybe like a little bit of glow from this sword could be cool there. We just lighten up the edge. We'll do like a cross-hatching thing. I just gotta be careful with the sword, because as an insane person, I have been doing this all on one layer. Okay. Alright, let's define this like knuckle a little bit better. All right. Find this little edge here. I'm honestly enjoying this so much. I'm thinking I should do more characters like this. I think I'll see how I feel when I'm done. I don't know if I do like the whole border every time though. I just feel like the border makes sense for him because he's got cool lore. He's got cool lore. Okay. Let me lighten up this little bit here. And there. Tiny bit there. Cool. And I think I might do a little glow thing for this hoof too. I say glow thing, I really just mean like a bounce light. Or an edge light, you know. Okay. Alrighty. That's looking pretty close. Now we just do a little bit here, a little bit of erasing, and then a little bit the very, very edge. Maybe a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of cross hatching. Not a lot, not a lot. I don't want to overdo it. I think that's it. I think that's it there. All right, one quick save here. You can feel that pinky acting up because I was gripping. All right. We make this leg match the rest here. And I think part of it is the highlights are maybe too light. But I think that's gonna offset everything a little bit. So I think we'll still have to make some of the darkest parts darker, which is okay, they're not that dark. Nice. Okay, that's good. That's good. Nice, nice. This is good. I think just a little bit of cross hatching it around the top should do it. It's crazy how even just small little lines like this make a big difference. The eyeballs over here, I think their shadows need to be a little bit more defined. And I do feel like I have to darken them a little bit now. They're not going to stand out as much. I don't. Probably got to do that to the pupils as well. I guess we could do it to everything, the iris as well. A little bit of everything. Ooh, that was a horrible line. I'm cutting off the highlight doing that. There we go. All right. All right. This is gonna be about it for this leg here. But look, it's looking pretty good there. Just kind of taking a big general glance at everything, seeing what needs to be adjusted, if anything. But I feel like in general, I've made a lot of changes to it that feel good. So next is the cloth. I do want to grab my original sketch just for a quick glance at that back. Okay. It's not that helpful. It's not that helpful. All right, not this track though. Not this track. Okay. I feel like the holes in the cloth should be a little bit wider, a little bit more torn looking. Because the way I have it in my sketchbook over here is a lot bigger. And I kind of like it. These little tiny ones don't do anything for me. They're not feeling quite right. So we'll start with that. And then I think that'll kind of guide us a little bit on like what we'll adjust over time here. Okay. I think that is making a little bit of a difference there. It's not crazy, but a little bit. Do like them more. And they feel a little bit more shredded. I think I need to clean that one up. That one's kind of ugly. Okay. Now, I feel like the easiest place to start is where there's like a form here, which is right here. can easily kind of make this look like it wraps around. That to me seems pretty easy to work with. From there, we'll figure out the rest. I have some folds going on here I need to define better. Then we go on the other side. Grade 8 there. And here. Okay. They need to end somewhere though. Get the eraser. Like, it could catch a little bit of light here. I think that makes sense, right? Kind of like it folds out a little bit before folding back in. I'm gonna bring the line up like this. Do this to kind of show that it's doing that a little more. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And then we pretend it ends there. Should kind of end up matching up by the time we get to the top. Perfect. Gotta bring that all the way down though. All the way down. I think you gotta draw like this more. This just feels more like what I do traditionally. Takes so much longer, but like, honestly, who cares? Who cares if it takes longer that I'm having fun? I can make this edge like jagged maybe, so it looks like torn clothing. I don't know if anybody would notice that detail. Can you notice it? Not really. Not really. I shouldn't mess with that too much. Because if I do, I'll do it forever, and then that's all I'll do. Can't get too worked up in those details that no one else will see. I think I'm gonna have to hatch here with the eraser for a second because I think it's looking a little confusing. I need it to just kind of look straight. Like nothing weird's happening here. Nothing going on here, officer. This is entirely in shadow, but not quite like this. I need to fill this to be completely black. So then there's a good distinction between this and this here. Okay. I'm actually really liking this. Just gotta be very intentional and light on the lighter parts of the clothing. Because I feel like to make it look a little bit more cloth-like, you want that noticeable hatching. You know what I mean? Because I feel like even when you paint clothing, you might want to get a small brush to do little bits of hatching to show thread a little bit. Especially with something that I would consider to have a really low thread count, like whatever kind of burlap Ludwig is wearing. Okay. I think the other thing I don't want to lose the high contrast either. Some of it will be lost just from the nature of adding lines, but I don't want it to be too lost. Because I want there to be that easy distinction when you just glance at it. But I need it to be toned down just a bit because it's obviously not the most important part of the composition. I think it's at a pretty decent contrast. I don't think it's looking too bad when I look at the thumbnail. I think it's distinctive enough, but it's not attracting your eye anymore. Which is good. Zoom out just a tiny bit. I mean, it's I think the tough part is also adding in that texture and making sure that the parts that are dark still look dark. Because right now, I'm kind of balancing it out now. Maybe we kind of come in here, add a few more lines there. Maybe we erase too, some cross-hatching like through erasing. Yeah, I think this is the move here. I think I'm gonna add some of that to the top as well. Yeah, I think that's okay. And these there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm so glad I didn't abandon this drawing, because it kind of just sat in my sketchbook for a long time. And I always told myself, I was like, I'll pull it out and do it. But, been sitting there for a few months. So I'm glad I finally got it out. There's this other, like, clown one that I did, and I kind of started to mess it up a little bit because I just kept noodling on it. But I think I can do that one digitally too at some point. That might be fun. I think it's actually okay traditionally, but I think if you pull out the microscope, pull out the microscope, you'll definitely see some stuff that you're like, huh, what's going on there? So I wouldn't want to just call it done as it is. It's okay as it is, but some small details that I was like, I can do this better. I can do this better. But it's one that I was doing at art markets. Because I don't love to just sit there and like sketch and draw the entire time. But there are some art markets where you're like, this one's gonna be a dud. It's gonna be a dud. I may as well practice. I may as well make something nice. So it's kind of a shame because that one was like, the vibe was very cool. Really cool one, but they're just, it was kind of like semi indoor outdoors. Like I was indoor, but like there wasn't windows, it was like bars. There was like a big door that was just like wide open. It was pretty cold out that day. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, this is cool, but also I'm freezing, so I'm gonna get out. Like the music has been vibe switching every song. I kind of like that right now, though. I kind of like that. It's keeping it interesting. Oh yeah, that cloth didn't take long at all. Let's add a little bit more to some of these parts here. Just for that contrast emphasis. This is yeah, it is Knock Loose. You guys think Ludwig would listen to Knock Loose? I actually don't think he would. I don't think he'd listen to Knock Loose. Okay. You're doing something too. Take a little stretch break. Take a quick little stretch break. Okay. Alright. Before I accidentally scribbled into this, I don't want that. Let's get rid of that. And there was a pattern I was trying to go for on this. I'm gonna try to kind of keep that going. And all I can really remember about the pattern is there's some circles on the outside. We'll start there. Every time I see other artists start putting patterns on clothing and stuff, and they just do something so like simple, and sometimes it doesn't follow the form. In my head, I'm always like, that's never gonna work. And then they make it work, and I'm like, you're a genius, man. You're a genius. I gotta do this more often. Like, pretend this was like a clothing sleeve, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do like stripes, and they'll literally just do like stripes like this. They won't like curve them. And I'm like, that's never gonna work. And then they make it work, and I'm like, you're a genius. How did you do that, man? I watched you do it, and I don't know. Sometimes the simplest solution is path to victory, I guess. Don't overthink it. But I do feel like when I try something like that, it doesn't work out too well for me. I feel like I always gotta really try to follow the form and stuff, and that works out better for me. Okay. How do I split this up? Let's not do that, huh? Okay, I think there should be like a stripe here. Goes like this. And maybe this stripe has like a little bit of a pattern to it. Go like this. No, I don't like that. Maybe like bigger on the other side. I'm gonna quickly grab an image of the guidance rune to see if maybe that could fit in here. There's not enough surface space to really show that it is the guidance rune, but I think we can still try. It's just such a asymmetrical shape that I don't think anybody would know just by looking at what I can draw of it on this space that it is the guidance rune, but that's okay, I think. Alright, so that kind of like curves. It's kind of just gonna look like strands of hair, but that's okay. You just darken it more or fill it entirely, you know? Something right about there. And it kind of sticks out here. Again, you're not really seeing this. It's covered up by the hair, but adds some texture, I guess. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shade these in a little bit. Maybe better than that, though. That was poor job. And a little bit of hatching there. Just to emphasize that it's darker. I think it's important that we just take this little part slow. Otherwise, we're not going to get the look that we want. Okay. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking it in the thumbnail. I wish I could see how many bits everyone has, because I'm so nervous about the draw with the left hand redeem. So nervous about that one. It's gonna be a tough day. Gonna be a tough day in Uncle Basement history. Okay. Okay, nice. Yeah, that worked out actually. I'm gonna mixture little bits of this here. It's in the light, so it doesn't need to be too crazy or anything. But we do want to make sure that some sort of texture going on there. Okay. And then this part is much less in the light. So I'm okay with this being a little bit darker. And then when it kind of curves over, lighten it up a little bit. Let's do some of this here. Fill in any gaps that we're missing here. Cool. All right. Okay. I gotta think about this for a second. It's not my favorite. Kind of just tunnel vision there. I don't think it's looking the way I want it to. Let's see what I can do here to adjust its look here. I think obscuring its entrance into your vision is a good way to start. I think thickening this pattern up, also good. We can emphasize that. And then maybe little bits of texture here. A little bit more obvious than what we did over here, but same kind of idea. So it looks a little less like a disc, you know? I don't want that disc look to it. It's supposed to be like mostly pristine, like quality of material, but I think we can sacrifice that look just to make it look a little bit more like what it's supposed to be. Okay, I think that's a bit better. And maybe like another trailing piece of cloth here. Maybe not. What if it was not skewered? Would that make more sense? I think it would. And then just a little bit over the top. There's something. I think here's the issue, is that the darkness of what's underneath is directly next to pure white, the background, and that is attracting my eye in that direction, even though I've textured the top. So I think there needs to be some sort of level of like cloth that like goes this way and it's lightly textured. So that needs to be a little texture there. And then I think the eye isn't so inclined to look that way. Because it blends a little bit better. I think that's the real solution. Holy crap, that's doing numbers. This is huge for the account. I think I'll increase the size of the outline a little bit. Yeah. Okay. All right. Subtle, but it worked. Also, I need something like, I don't know, feels a little normal, maybe? I don't know. Everything I've listened to is kind of wild, huh? St. Vincent, I guess. That's fine. Okay. I think I'm gonna do one little thing, and then we're moving on to the sword. Scary as it is. I think as I'm thinking about contrast, and I'm thinking about everything and like where the eye's going. Obviously, I want the eye to go to the face. I want the eyes to go to the other like weird eye mouth thing. So the contrast there needs to be the highest. Darkest parts need to be there. And I do have the teeth being quite dark, but I think the eye can be really light, and then the parts around that can be a little bit darker. That's what I'm thinking. So I really want to emphasize that part. Okay, it's getting there. I just really want some of that like awakened beast energy in that eye, you know? That's what makes him so cool in the face transition. I think overemphasizing all this, like, all these weird scales and pustules and stuff around the eye will definitely add to that, like, contrast effect. I think we can. A little bit of this here. Because if we make it one of the only things that's like pure white here, we're in a good spot, I think. Okay. I think that's gonna work. Gonna darken this one up a bit. And then just what's under the jaw. And sword is next. Sword is next. scary. It's scary. You've been working alongside me on something from the beginning. Congrats, because we've nearly hit the 2-hour mark. We still got more to go. All right. Nice. Now I feel like this is not totally matching up, though. Not a hard fix, though. Not a hard fix. It's just the lightest and the darkest parts, so let's just quickly address that. Okay. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. We can move on to the sword. Okay. I think this one I will be looking at my sketch a little bit because I did do a few bits of detail work on that sketch for the sword. Now, I might not match it exactly, but I do feel like I should do my best to follow along because I do think I was actually looking at some images of the Moonlight Greatsword, and so I do think I should kind of stick to that. So I'll do a quick kind of sketch of some of those patterns, and then we'll kind of go over it like we have here with just all the extra lines. Build is fairly simple. So you get to the very top, at least from what I can tell. I don't know why I did that line like that. Like just doing this thing, you know? It just drawn a straight line. I didn't like that one. Okay. There is one here. We'll probably erase a little bit of the outline there. Same here. Actually, you know what? We can thicken this one up just a little bit. I think it's actually easier. Do something like this. Cool. Because then what we're doing is thin that out a little bit. some of this. Ooh, yeah. Real simple, real simple. It's a little bit more curved than this one, so I'm okay with it staying nearly parallel the whole time. Let's not get too separated from each line though. Okay. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay. Fairly easy there. This is kind of a continuation of this without the inset. It's really just 2 lines. And this continues down here. So we thicken this one up. We do the same idea. Not this track though, please. This is okay. All right, I'm gonna do the middle one first. Two ultimate levels of focus. One, carrying an ice cube tray full of water to the freezer. Two, drawing multiple straight parallel lines. Same vibe. Same vibe. No questions, please. I had a little bit of a lag there. Okay, okay, yeah. All right. Here is the tricky part. So, this. I think the hard part is keeping it totally symmetrical. It needs to go a tiny bit. There we go. Okay, nice and easy. And this should actually be thicker. Because if I remember correctly, this part here is the same material as this part. This also needs to be a bit thicker the other way. Okay. Little gem. Little gem. Okay. Next big part. This little weird guy here. It's like a V shape here. It's gonna go like this. This sword might be the only. No, it's on the same layer. Never mind. I'll say the sword might be the only thing that's on a different layer, but it is not. I don't know what the other layer's for. I've not needed to touch it for a minute. Okay, so right here, it should kind of come up there. Right here should land there. Okay. All right. We have 2 rings. I'm gonna go on each side. Right? Just like this. 2 rings to rule them all. Or something, right? Something about this one feeling off. And I think it's the width of this line here doesn't totally match up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. And I also think maybe it should extend out a little farther. We just clean up as we go. Get that going. All right. I think there was a good time where I was ripping that pen again. I wasn't noticing. I'm good. Yeah, sure. Everybody likes black pumas, right? Not everybody. Sports. Everybody loves sports. Okay. More of the pattern here. This is just kind of like, what do they call it? Inlay? Not actual, like, objects over the top, but just design. not drawing the right line. More about there. And there. Oh, also, I forgot to thicken these a little bit to kind of match up. There we go. Not like a, I don't know what you'd call that shape. This one's gonna be a little tricky. Let's start here actually. Then we'll just do a lot of erasing for this. It's kind of like an intertwining. I don't know, vine or something. Nah, it didn't work out. Right? Then like I said, we'll erase. Okay. Which one do we want to go over first? Maybe you? And then you? And then you. Oh, dropped my sketchbook. Oops. Oopsie. Okay. I didn't do this in the sketch, but I think it'd be cool. I'd like to think that, like, the Moonlight Greatsword might change based off of who wields it a little bit. And I would imagine that eyes are a big thing. You know, not just that he has those eyes on the mouth. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But he's also, there's a whole concept of like eyes in the head and stuff, and that's pretty cool. I don't do any commission work right now. So I'm sorry to say I can't do the profile picture. But I just got a lot on my plate for drawing in general. So I'm doing this stuff here. Some work for printing out for art markets and stuff. And then I also make a comic. It does take quite a lot of time. I want to make sure I count these here. Well, when I open up commissions, I might just like make a post about it and stuff, and then if that works for you, we can do something then. 7, 8. I'm at 5. Go here. Yeah, I also kind of have bad memory. I think I have bad short-term memory. Okay. I kind of don't like that this line is thicker than the other. So we'll thin that out. Yeah, that's my cat Mally. Malice the Death Dealer. Okay. This one goes over the top first. Ooh, bad start to it though. Then wait, how many times did we go over? Go up twice, down twice. Yeah, I think those emotes for the cat, yeah, take your time. Kind of my favorite ones to make. Okay, so here's the problem. That cross happens there. I want to abide by that. I have to think for 1 second here. I think it's better for me to just restart the line. This is tougher than I thought it would be because I have to match the other side and also make it feel smooth here. Okay. So this goes over. Then this goes over. Right? And then you. Nice. Okay. What are we missing here? Just this little kind of wispy bit. Okay. That's the decoration of the hilt. So I think we'll be able to just add bits of texture to it. Make it feel lived in a bit. So do feel like I have to be very intentional with the sword. Because not only is it like metal and crafted unlike the like organic shapes of Ludwig, it's also supposed to be a masterpiece, you know? It's supposed to be a masterpiece sword. So, you know, I feel like you should depict it as such. I don't want to get too, like, scribbly with it, you know? Get scribbly with it. I think it's just not gonna quite look like the sword it's meant to look like. You know, I feel like if it was some kind of like twisted up sword, like think like Null has a sword that's kind of like that. Null, like the symbiote. I think of that. That would be drawn like real scribbly and almost gross looking, you know? Okay, I can't listen to a lullaby though. No. This little corner needs a little bit more texture there. Pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's start in the middle. And a bit of that. Okay. I like that. Quick save here, a quick stretch on my hand. I feel like time flies, man. Been live for 2.5 hours already. Okay. And maybe very light ones for the front. A tiny bit in the other direction too. You know? Oh, I dropped my sketchbook again. I don't need it here. I can just move it. I stopped doing that. Sorry, Nicholas Jar. I'm gonna need to skip that one. Okay. Okay. All right. That's Maui. I made that one. I knew that one was gonna be a favorite. I think I like it more because it's based off of a real photo. Okay. A little bit more this texture here as well. Just showing that it's well worn. I think even up here, it kind of needs like the opposite texture. Opposite direction, you know? To show the same kind of idea. I think this is still not quite the tone I want. It almost needs that like yeah, that's good. And then just like a tiny bit of lines for tone should kind of still keep that same effect, I think. Yeah, and just darken it a tiny bit so it doesn't pull your eye there as like the most attractive part of the drawing. I don't want that, you know. But as I look at it, I'm telling you, I can noodle on this all day. Just sit there and adjust and adjust and adjust. I just notice more little things. I'm like, this could be more. This could be better, you know. So I gotta limit myself a little bit, just a little bit. Right. I almost want to cheat and use a ruler, but I don't think it'd actually make it look better if I do it. I think I should just toughen up and do my best to do straight lines here. I don't know if there's a way to do like a ruler, but it's like your pen doesn't abide by it or something. I don't know. Oops, didn't mean to hit that button. Okay. So like I'd love to just look at it on here, but not have my pen forced to follow it. I feel like I just made an ugly face at that line. I was trying to scare it off. Mean mug the drawing until it's good. How's that looking out here? Well, I guess I could just look over there. Okay, it's okay. I think these need to be together though, a little closer together. I mean. Oof. That was certainly not a parallel line. Oof. Hand hurting a little bit. I didn't even think I was gripping the pen. I'm not sure. That line's not good. Maybe this line kind of continues in there a little bit. Okay. Now, do it again. Oh boy. What have I gotten myself into? Oh no, this song's kind of nuts. I'm kind of past the high energy ones. Okay. Seems good to me. I'm gonna save because I don't want to do that again. I do not want to do that again. Okay. Now, I'm gonna just texture the metal a little bit. Man, my neighbors upstairs are just stomping as hard as they can. And it's quick, too. It's quick stomps. Stomp, 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 stomp. I'm like, oh my goodness. Where's the fire, man? Where's the fire? Certainly wasn't that line. That line was not fire. Okay. I feel like I need a big shadow here to emphasize how metallic it is. If you want any advice for how to make metal look like metal when you're drawing it, do your best to put really, really strong highlights next to really, really strong dark spots. That has done wonders for me. Like, your darkest parts should be next to the lightest parts. Like that has done so much for me. I think it's easier to paint metal than it is to draw it, but it's certainly possible. See? That looks so metallic. I love just abiding by that. Cause you know how like when you shade something, you want to go light and then get dark, right? I feel like with metal, it's kind of the opposite, where it's like right next to the whitest spot. Let's pretend this is the lightest spot. When you go light over here, you want to actually start dark, go light, and then you can like gradate back. Kind of weird, but it works. It works. Because I feel like when you put down a highlight, you got to think, where can I put something super dark? And then when you put something super dark, you got to think, where can I put a highlight right next to it? Once I figured that out, I was like, there's never going to be a day where I can't draw metal. It's like the easiest thing for me now. The tricky part comes when you're drawing reflections in metal. That I think is a little trickier. For sure, for sure. Is this one good enough too? Yeah, that's good. Okay. I think we do it kind of the opposite over here. Let me check this one too. Does that feel right? I think it needs a little bit more gradation over here. Where it feels right. Get in there. I almost feel like I darken this one more than this one. And it should be the other way around. Match that up there. So that's more like in direct light than the other. Versus this one. This one needs to lighten up, bud. Just a tiny bit. I'm gonna over lighten real quick. So we can put this back down. And get at the edges here. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now we make everything else look a little shiny, huh? pretty simple. This one's on the opposite end. Feel like this is gonna be a lot darker. Oh, hydrate, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Sorry, I got it way over there. Thank you, thank you. Oh no, no, no. How many points are you at? Every hydrate is saving me a couple seconds till my inevitable doom. I'm just scared it's gonna line up with the frame. That's the scariest part. That part's gonna be hard with my right hand, you know? I gotta set up like a sound alert for those. I'm pretty good at checking chat, but still, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. Is that too dark? It might be. It might be too dark. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I've been forgetting to check my grip for a second there. Oh man. Did he draw Ludwig? You must be mistaken, man. Yeah, it's looking, I think it's looking like it needs maybe more highlight on the, or sorry, not highlight, more of a dark spot on the highlight to kind of make it more metallic. Yeah, bro thought I read Berserk. I still haven't. I still have not. I think what's funny is I tried to watch Berserk one time and what I ended up doing, because I had no idea, because I watched, I don't remember what year it is, but there's like a year where they did, oh man, I was just noodling for no reason. They did like a 3D anime or something for a while, and I guess it's notorious for being really bad and looks horrible. And I remember watching it and being like, people are hyping this up, bro. What is going on? This looks terrible. And I told a friend about it, and they're like, yeah, you watched like the one Berserk thing you should not have watched. I didn't watch the whole thing. I think I watched like one episode, and I was like, nah, this isn't. I'm not putting up with this. Could it be lighter? I think it could still be lighter. I think it still works. It's crazy. Nothing hurts after Christofferson. Nothing hurts. You couldn't say nothing to me. You'd hit you with names you don't recognize, and then you Google them and go like, God damn, he got me hard. Wow. He hit me like incredibly hard in the chest, and I didn't even notice. I had to go Google my insult afterwards. And he was right. I lightened it and then I darkened it immediately after. Oh, foolish, foolish. It looks very gritty that way. Let's play with this one here and then we'll see how we feel. Because this one's got to be darker on this edge. Not now, not now, not. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, the cat's come to bother me. Hello. What's up? You want to come up? No, you don't want to come up. Nope. Said no immediately. I think she's just reminding me that her dinner time is in like 20 minutes. Okay. I think it's fine. Maybe I should have done the bottom line here first. That way I can kind of just see exactly how much space I have left.
Les flocons de neige qui brillent dans le ciel nocturne me réconfortent. Je t'attends seul dans le noir. Je t'attends depuis trop long.
So I had like a scratch here.
Dans mon cœur, un murmure de ma propre confession. Le moment de te rencontrer.
Ah, he's itchy. Ugh.
Écoute mon cœur, où es-tu maintenant? Il s'agit d'attendre toute ma vie. N'entends-tu pas ma petite voix? Je t'attends.
That's alright. I can live with him. It's barely visible anyways. Maybe there's like a little bit of an engraving I can do with it, you know? I'm thinking like the Carol rune, which is kind of like this. Or the Carol rune, the guidance rune. And then we just kind of... Oh, it's too big. It's too big. No, I did it on the wrong... That's why it's freaking me out. I gotta think with both sides of my brain. Something like that. I'll adjust it though. That's the idea. I think it needs to be a little higher here. How do I do this? I think you darken the inside wall, and then you do something like this. Just trust, 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 trust. It works out, it works out. Well, not there though. This will follow this line like that, no problem. Not really darkening the side I need to darken first though. This is gonna be the stupidest detail that nobody's ever gonna notice, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool. So I'm gonna keep it going. I'm stupid? Maybe. Which one is correct? The right one is correct. This left one is wrong. Let me tilt you a tiny bit before I move forward, just to match up a little better. Look at that neurodivergency at work. Okay, yeah, no, I think it's worth it. I thought it was totally worth it now. Hell yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. This pinky's driving me crazy. Think I might be nearing the end. That sounds so ominous. It sounds so ominous to say. I think I might be almost ready to hop off stream, because got a cat to feed. And I still have to figure out what I'm gonna make for dinner. But I did get Sword Hilt pretty much done. I don't want to leave those like little spiral things as like totally white. So I think I will add a little bit to them. I think this can just be a little light texture. So I do want it to look like not engraved. What is it? Embossed? No. Where it like sticks out a little bit, you know, where it's like it's a bump rather than a dip. Bump, don't dip. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. I hope if you're working on something, you're watching, that you feel pretty productive. Feel like you've made some good progress. What does that look like? I need to add bits of highlight throughout the top, and as it kind of transitions here. And you know, regardless of what others might say, you know, little bits of progress are good. Very, very good. Hell, you know, I've never been compared to Kentaro Miura, so I'm like, dude, thank you. Thank you. That's the first compliment I've gotten all day. For real. We'll lighten it more. It's too dark. Now I'm thinking about it too. I think it'd be really cool if Mira ever did any like Dark Souls or Bloodborne art. That would have been so cool to see. Maybe he has, and I just don't know about it. Actually, I know he was like an inspiration for it or whatever. But that's all I really know. That's all I know. I swear. Another fun fact about Berserk and myself is that I was once gifted. So I guess I kind of lied. I did read the first chapter of Berserk. Did read that. And it's because I was gifted the first chapter of Berserk by somebody, a good friend too. And I think the next year, I don't remember if it was like Christmas or my birthday or whatever it was that they gifted it me for. But then the next year they gave it to me again. And I was just like, oh, thanks. You know, and I kind of get it when like you get a gift that you already have or something, or when it happens to me only with books, you know, but whatever. I might come back and edit these little things. My finger's hurting, so I kind of need to give it a rest once I'm done here. And if I change it up when I come back, I change it up. It's not hitting for me the way I want it to. Yeah, I've never been gifted something that I already have if it wasn't a book. And it's happened to me, I think, 3 or 4 times too. Where I'm like, oh, I have this. But that one was the most funny because I was like, I have this because you gave it to me last year, man. But it's okay. I really don't mind. Every duplicate gift that I've gotten too, I'm kind of like, well, you know, the thought really matters, and so I'm just gonna pretend that you gave this to me in the first place because, you know, you found something that I would have actually really liked. It just so happens that I have it already. So in my head, I'm like, you gave a good gift. You gave a good gift because I like it so much. I already got it. You know. I appreciate those. I'm like, you're very thoughtful. So thoughtful, you read my mind. Okay. Actually, that one's so much better than this one. Huh. Maybe I can just lighten it up and maybe it'll be fine. I'm getting hungry. Oh yeah, that does look better. But the hilt's pretty much done. There's a little bit more texture work that I need to do, but it's pretty much there. Damn, when I look at the legs too, I'm pretty happy with the legs. I'm pretty happy with the legs and how those turned out. Hi, kitty. Hello. You're hungry? I know you're hungry. Yeah, it is like exactly 4 o'clock, and she comes up to lick me to be like, it's time to eat. So, with all that said, thanks for popping in. Thanks for saying anything in the chat if you said anything in the chat. Appreciate you regardless. And if you're on Twitch or YouTube, go eat something. Go drink some water. Go stretch. Get a little break, you know? But time yourself also, like maybe only like 15 minutes. Come back if you still have more work to do. And then, I don't know, tune into my other streams or tune into somebody else or tune into my YouTube channel because I do have a lot of videos up there. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, come check out the Twitch. And if you're on Twitch, go check out the YouTube. But thank you so much. I will be live again tomorrow around the same time, which is about 12 p.m. PST, 1-ish PST, somewhere around there. I'm usually live for a few hours. And if you missed part of this VOD and you want to watch the rest of it, and you're on Twitch, it's on YouTube. So, I will see you later, nibblings. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.